Welcome to Love Fitness Studios podcast, live from Manchester, UK, speaking to entrepreneurs in the fitness, health and well-being industry, sharing stories about the real-life challenges and hustle. Now, over to your host, Nick Phillips.
Okay, welcome to podcast number 10. Thanks for joining us, and we've got RAZZOR. How you doing, RAZZOR?
Good, mate, you?
Yeah, awesome, mate. Thanks for coming down.
Well, thanks for having me on, mate.
So I'm excited to hear about your story. I know you've got some good stories in there.
Yeah.
So tell me about your childhood. I always like to start off right at the beginning. Tell me about RAZZOR growing up, what you were into, what you were like at school.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, school wasn't for me. I didn't like school.
Did you?
No, not for me. I mean, childhood in general was great. It was obviously different. My brother's got autism, so living around autism it's obviously a totally different upbringing than a normal family would be. But yeah, I loved it, mate. I couldn't ask for a better one. School, my mum and dad were both teachers, so they were big on me going to school and going to college, going to uni, and that was never for me. I always knew I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And therefore, when I was at school, I just saw it as pointless. I didn't want to be there. I didn't like the fact that you had to do homework after school. I thought that was stupid. But you know, you have to go. I wasn't naughty at school. I just I'd get bored and start messing about and get sent out for distracting people, that sort of thing. I wasn't like a naughty kid. I didn't do badly, to be fair, at school. I got decent grades, but I knew that I wasn't going to use them, and I never have. So, but no.
Did your parents work at your school? Was it
No, they were in Moss Side.
Were they?
But yeah.
Where were you brought up then?
I was brought up in Widnes, yeah.
Widnes,
so,
right.
But they worked in Moss Side. Well, my mum, to be fair, she stopped when my brother was born, because then she had to sort of look after him, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, but my dad carried on. So yeah, they were just big on that. It's not really their fault. All they knew was education. You had to go to school and go to college, then you go to uni, and that's how you get a good job. And there's no other. Back then there wasn't things like YouTubers and social media and all this type of thing, the internet. So that's all they knew, and then they'd get all stressed out when I didn't want to do it and so on.
Strange, isn't it? It's crazy how things have moved on now.
Yeah.
So was your brother older or younger?
He's younger than me. He's 31 now. No, 30 years now. Yeah, nearly 31.
So that was tough for the family.
It is. Yeah. Now I'm older, I realise that it was. When I was younger, you don't notice, but yeah, I mean, I'd be less on my own devices a lot, obviously, because they'd be looking after him. So I guess that it's worked out well, because now, obviously, with lockdown now, you've got to be good in your own company, otherwise you're struggling. Obviously, a lot of people are. That's the main topic now, isn't it? People's mental health. But my whole life, I've been left to my own company, whether I was like playing footy on my own in the garden or playing with me wrestling figures on my own, whatever, you know. But yeah, when now I'm older, and you see the strain it has on them, the different things when he'll kick off about something, or it's not so bad now, to be fair. But when we were younger, as severity of autism goes, he's not too severe really. But yeah, it's, sometimes it worked. Like I remember we went Disneyland when I was a kid in America, and we got to skip all the queues because he'd start kicking off if he was in a queue, so they'd give us like a pass. So it worked out alright sometimes, but yeah, at the time when I was younger, I didn't really notice it. Yeah. But obviously more the last 10 years or so, yeah, you notice more the difference what it's made. Yeah.
Fantastic. So was you a sporty kid? You were academic?
Yeah. No. It's that's all. The only thing I wanted to do in school was PE. That was it. That's the only thing. Yeah. And then obviously I did play football. Yeah. That's what I wanted to do. From when I was a kid, I was going to be a footballer. That's it. That's all I've ever thought about, really. But that obviously wasn't to be. But it's funny because either I was playing, my dad would always come, he'd take me everywhere, and whenever I was playing, whatever level I was at, he never missed a game.
Yeah.
He'd always come, but yeah, football was the main thing that I wanted to do. That's why I thought I didn't need school. And obviously you'd get all the teachers, they'd be like, oh, you're not going to amount to anything, what are you going to do when you leave school? I was like, oh, I'm going to be a footballer. They're like, yeah, right. It's like everyone wants to be a footballer.
Well, I think the percentage of professional footballers is like less than 1%.
Yeah, you don't want to listen when you're 14, 15, 16 old, yeah. So.
No. So did you play at a good level when you were a kid?
Yeah. So when I played semi-pro over here. I've played at every level semi-pro up until just below League 2. So yeah, and then I went and played over in America for a bit. But ultimately, my attitude is what let me down. Back then, it's embarrassing now, to be fair, when I look back at what my attitude was like. I didn't train hard enough, I didn't practice enough. I thought it would just come to me, I didn't have to put the work in, and obviously you can't succeed ultimately if you do that, if you like that, can you?
Who was you sort of looking up to as footballers or role models, and did you just feel like they can do it, I can do it, so was that your attitude?
Yeah, I can't really think of anyone in particular, but when I was a kid, I wanted to be Ryan Giggs when I was a kid. That's like young kid.
Yeah.
He was like the superstar, come on the scene then, and but I never really related it in my head as to like, well, they're doing all this work, so you need to do that. I just thought, well, I'll keep playing, keep scoring all the goals, and then I'll be the best player here, so they'll see it. But it doesn't work like that. Obviously, you have to. The scouts are looking for your attitude as much as what you actually do. They're looking at what you're doing when you've not got the ball. When I got the ball, I'd be fine. When I didn't have the ball, I'd be stuck on the halfway line, just like sulking if someone didn't pass it to me, or if someone give the ball away, and you can't be doing that. So, yeah, that was.
Did you do anything at that early stage for sort of mental preparation, or did you like obviously nowadays, like did your parents help with that, or
no?
Did you not?
When I look back now, I wish I knew the stuff I know now, mindset wise. If I had my mindset that I had now, I would have done a lot better, no doubt. But I mean, it's funny. I was speaking to my dad not long ago about it, and he was saying he wishes he'd been more strict and pushed me, but he's just a laid back guy. That's not what he's about. And I think he thought if he pushed me, then I'd sort of rebel the other way, maybe. But maybe if he did, I would have been different. I don't know.
There's a fine line, isn't there?
Yeah, but I mean, it's a tough one, because when sometimes I would get it right, I'd knuckle down and do what I needed to do, and then I'd get a break and I'd get a good move or like opportunities that come about, and then I'd get an injury or something, and I'd just be like feeling sorry for myself instead of like knuckling down and doing what I needed to do. But it wasn't meant to be. So
fair enough. What level did you get to with the football?
So semi-pro over here, the highest I played was the conference. So
was
just
it?
below, just below League 2.
Full-time job?
No, it wasn't. No, it was only ever like train Tuesday night, Thursday night, play on a Saturday, or you might have a midweek game.
Right.
But
you get fans there. It'd be.
Oh yeah. And it's funny. So I was watching Did you see the Salford documentary?
Yeah.
So when I was watching that, and that it takes you back and makes you think about all them. And there's some good times, mate. I loved it.
Yeah.
Made some alright money doing it, but ultimately I didn't have the drive what I needed to push on. And like say, whenever I did, and I'd have a good run of games, and they'd say, so and so's come to watch you today, the manager would say, and then I don't know. I guess I'd like it never really happened. I wouldn't quite have a good enough game, or something, I wouldn't have. And then I went over playing in America, and so I got injured. I'd ruptured my ACL.
Okay.
And I did it, and I knew it was bad, but they told me that I'd just sprained the lateral ligament down the outside, which I had done, but I'd also torn the ACL as well. And but they wouldn't. I didn't get a scan for it. I just did the rehab for what they said I'd done. So that was like 3 months, and then I came back, and then I'd be playing, and it wasn't quite right. But I had this trial in America, in Orange County it was, in just outside LA. So I went over there, and it just wasn't right. Sometimes it would just buckle on me. I didn't know what it was, but I just cracked on anyway. Passed the trial, so I went over there, and you get like in America you can go for 3 months, on like your travelling visa.
Yeah.
And then you can't earn any money. Then when you at the end of that, you can get a working visa then. So the plan was I had to go over after the trial, train with him, play a few like friendly games, and then after the 3 months, get the contract, and then jobs are good. And then it was something like 2 months in, I was training, and my knee just buckled on me, and the physio was like, you saw on your ACL, mate.
Wow.
So that was it. And they were like, well, we're not giving you a contract now because you can't play for the year. So I had to come home.
How did you take that mentally?
Not great, yeah. No, that was like, I saw that at the time. That was like my last, because I didn't really enjoy footy training. I liked the games.
Did you do any conditioning work? Did you do any
I loved the gym. I loved gym training, yeah.
Yeah.
So before I went over there, while I was injured, I did my level 3 PC course. I did a sports nutrition qualification, did advanced nutrition for physical performance. They were all things I could do, you know, like open uni, you know, where you can do them from home. So I did all of those, and that was while I was injured here. And then the plan was I'd go over there and I'd do some PCing over there, and then get the contract and play. 'Cause it was over there, they do it different over there. It's like, so we have, obviously there's the Premier League, and then below you can get relegated and promoted.
Yeah.
Over there they just have a different franchises. So you've got the MLS is like the Premier League, obviously. This was called the USL, I think United Soccer League, I think. So it's pro, and they get paid full time, but it's a different franchise. But the scouts from the MLS go and watch those games. So it's almost like a feeder league, really.
Yeah.
So because I'd had a trial with a team, they ended up being, so FC New York, the team, like Frank Lampard went and played for them, and Pirlo and David Villa and people like that. But initially they were going to be in this USL. So I went over and did a trial, and got through that, and then they changed it all up and they got an opportunity to go into the MLS, so they binned it all. So I was like, so I had it in my head, I wanted to go to America, and that's when I went to the other one.
Right.
But yeah, so I was already injured when I was over here, but I didn't know the extent of it. So I was still playing with a torn ACL. So then when I've come back, obviously they've said, we can't give you a contract now.
The pain must have been horrific.
Yeah, well, yeah. Sometimes it was weird because you can do anything in a straight line.
Yeah.
Whenever you try and turn, sometimes it'd be like, you know, if you've like dislocated your shoulder or something, and it'll just come out a bit and go back in, and you just get after a bit, you just get used to it. Yeah. But some games, I mean, they'd just balloon up for a couple of days after it. Some games it'd be all right, so I just got on with it. But then it's like I say, when I do get focused on something, I'll go. I won't let anything stop me doing it. And I was like, right, this is my last chance. This, and if I'm going to do it, the lifestyle living just outside LA, you know, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
So I was after that. Anyway, so I come home and get my surgery, and then I've got no job. I've got the PT qualifications, but I haven't got. I can't do it because I can't. Obviously, got one leg. So when I had the surgery, when I came round in my room, the surgeon came in and he was like, he said it's worse than we thought. It was a mess. So
was this in the States?
No, this is over here, because you obviously have to pay massive amounts over there, don't you? They don't have NHS over there. So came back home and had it over here. Then when I came round, the surgeon was like, it wasn't great. So what had happened was, you've obviously got the two ligaments that cross over in your knee. One of them, the one that I torn, had reattached itself to the other one. So I had like 1.5. So that's why I could still do things and it'd be held in. And so then they had to unattach it and so they take your hamstring out and then they like double it over and make your new ACL out of it. So that's what they did, and then obviously I had the rehab from that. But then that was it wasn't a great start. It's funny though, really, because when I look back now, that prepared me for lockdown, because that was essentially, I was in lockdown then, but it was worse because everyone else could do stuff and I couldn't, and I was just stuck inside. I had to do these like tedious stretches and little exercises in the house and ice my knee all day, and that was it. But and then I could eventually get on a bike, go in the gym and going on the bike was like a relief just to get out of the house after a bit. But so that was for like 6 months of where that's all I could do, and then the other 6 months I was back in the gym, then I could do the weights and stuff. But so then I could start doing PT, and so that was alright. But the first 6 months, that was a grim time. That was like, well, at the time I didn't see it as, I've got depression, but I did.
Did you?
I did, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So
I
when
didn't
you
have no motivation. Some days I just wouldn't get out of bed.
would you not?
Just feeling sorry for myself. Yeah, just like, but I didn't tell my mum and dad. I didn't tell my mates. I didn't want to speak about. Don't know. Maybe I'm embarrassed. Probably you feel a bit embarrassed that you feel that way, you know. And I was thinking like, I've gone from sort of going to live the dream over there, if you like, and then coming back and you'd be thinking people like, you know, he thought he was going to make it in this, and then that's what I was thinking in my head anyway. It probably wasn't the case at all, but so I didn't really open up about it. I just got over it myself. But the way you get over stuff, I feel you have to have goals going forward, and you have to make progress to feel good about yourself, and you've got to do. It doesn't matter what help you get, it has to be you that does it. Luckily for me, I managed to get the goals and get on track, but there was no design to it. It just sort of came about. But now obviously mental health's like a big thing now, especially for men as well. It's more when men need to open up, because they do. It's like I say, a lot of people would feel like what I've just said. They're like embarrassed that you're supposed to be a man. You know, you've got to, you know, get over it. You'll be all right. But everyone's different. Some people can't just find it in themselves to do it. So, you know, it's good that these days it gets recognised a bit more, and, you know, there's more sort of help out there and stuff.
It's interesting you put that being bedbound with an injury, relating it to lockdown. So there must be so many people out there that are feeling the strain of the lockdown. I mean, like I was saying to you off camera, like I'm an extremely positive person. It takes repetition. Do you know what I mean? I need a routine. I need to listen. I need to circle myself around positive people. But even I'm feeling it this time. Do you know what I mean? So it must be really bad if you're full lockdown, not having people to reach out to. Do you know what I mean? Not knowing wherever to go. So what was the sort of light bulb moment for you? Because I obviously follow you on Instagram and see what you do work wise, and yeah, I thought, do you know what I mean? Obviously I didn't know your story, but I thought you were positive. But what was, so from that, not having the motivation as a footballer, not having the motivation as a kid, being a bit lazy, only working when, what was the, okay, I get it now, to think, right.
So I followed the UFC. I like watching UFC. I followed that, and Connor McGregor was coming through at the time. So Connor McGregor's like, he was making a lot of noise. He was saying he was going to do this and that to this person and that person, and he was going to end up winning this title and doing. And he ended up doing exactly what he'd said he was going to do. And I liked his first fight when he came. Initially, I liked the way he fights. So as I started looking into him a bit more. So on YouTube, I watched it. It's this documentary that was on. It was on like Irish television, I think, of like when he came from absolutely nothing. And obviously at this point I'm on the dole because I've come back and I can't work or anything like that. So
was you living at home with your parents?
Yeah. So I was getting, you get like some 70 quid a week or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he was in the same position. Like, so I don't know if you know his backstory. He was like, he was a plumber, and he hated it, and he sacked it off just to be. He wanted to be an MMA fighter, but there was no such thing as being an MMA fighter then. That wasn't really, no one knew of it as a career, and he jacked everything in against what his mum and dad wanted, and just went all in for this. And he was on the dole. He had nothing to his name really, and then he ended up obviously making it. So I watched this documentary, and part of it, he's in his hotel room before one of his fights, and he's reading quotes like out loud from it's called The Key to Living the Law of Attraction, the book is. And I like related to the quotes, and I could relate to him, like his sort of story, and I liked what, you know, his mindset, what he was about. So that sort of inspired me first. And I saw, obviously, looked on Amazon for this book, but it was like £6 or something. It's like the best £6 I've probably ever spent. But I bought that, read it, and then I just related to it, and because I related to it because of him really, because I could see it works because he's doing it. And when I'm reading it, and then I've seen different interviews and documentaries about him, I say, oh yeah, he's using that, and he's saying it because of this, and then and it's happening because of that. And so I could see it, because it talks about a lot of people who hear about the law of attraction, The Secret and stuff, they hear about, like, it says, oh, the universe, and they're thinking, that's bollocks, and like, so they just don't bother with it. But and maybe I would have thought that, I definitely would have thought that 5 years before. Yeah. But I had nothing else, so I thought, might as well give it a go, because nothing's going to happen otherwise. So I started following that. Yeah. And then, it does work. So I just followed his career from that, followed what the book said, and I started the first 6 months I was just doing rehab, so I couldn't really do much else. I just had to focus on my own rehab. Yeah. And then after that I thought I'll do the PTing. So the gym I was at the time, I think these days I don't think you have to pay rent in most gyms, do you? Like your pure gyms and stuff. I think they make you go in and like you have to do a certain number of hours in there, like cleaning or whatever, and then you're in there. But back then it was something like £250 or £300 a month rent at the gym I used to go to.
How many years ago was that?
About 7 or 8, I'd say.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm not paying that. So I thought I'll go to people's houses. I thought a lot of people don't like going to the gym. They're a bit sort of intimidated to go. Other people can't make it or they'll make up the excuse in their head that they can't make it because they've got family commitments, work, whatever. So I'll go to the houses and do like circuit workouts with them. Obviously I couldn't do the workouts. I could do like sort of demo the exercises, and then I'd just be there on the timer really. Yeah. So I'd go and I'd give them like a nutrition sheet where it just about the basics of what they needed to do, just for a basic lifestyle change really. None of that calorie counting and all that stuff. Just simple stuff that people could relate to and follow easy. So I built a few clients, not many clients, I had about 15 clients, something like that. Wasn't really making that much money because that's a drive, like it was all over the northwest, so that's a drive to the fucking house, drive back.
I've done with all your stuff that weighs a ton.
Fuck all out of it. But it was,
sat in traffic.
It was something to do. And you're trying to schedule your appointment. I'm going to be 20 minutes late. It's traffic's murder. But nightmare. But it was a goal. It was something I was doing, actively progressing, doing something. So like I say, that's what you need when you're getting yourself out of a rut. Anyway, then really, all I was doing was just holding a stopwatch and making people accountable. It was only stuff they could do themselves anyway, but they just probably wouldn't do it if no one's there to make it. But the nutrition sheet would, like, people were getting some serious results off it, so they're tagging me on Facebook saying I've lost like £6 this week, or £4 or £8 this week, whatever. Yeah. So then people would be like saying to them, commenting on it, saying like, wow, what are you doing? How are you losing that? So then I started selling, I say nutrition sheet, it was like a booklet. I'd have like the 5 rules, what people would follow, like an example shopping list. I did like a paragraph for each rule, briefly explaining it. Then I'd have like an example meal plan. Yeah. And then they could use me they could message me on Facebook. I'd be like the online coach, if you like. Yeah. So started selling them and sold quite a lot of them. And then I thought, I might as well like write a book about this. I don't know why I thought a book it's easy to just sell a book, like, but I did at the time. So I was like, right, I'll write a book, and I'll just put more info in it, and I'll include how to exercise for whatever your goal is. Put some example workouts in there, put recipes in there. We'll have like a little all-in-one book.
You're talking 7 years ago. You're talking before like the Joe Wicks of the world.
So it was literally. It must have been the year before. I was doing this like the year before Joe Wicks, because then he sort of came onto the scene when I just started setting
with his Instagram short videos.
Because I knew nothing about social media. I was on Facebook, didn't know anything about. I just used it for myself really. I didn't know anything about. Like he was probably the first one to come out with proper like videos that would promote what he was doing, that were like fun, people wanted to share and stuff, didn't they? So, but so that I made this book, wrote it all, and then found out that it's not easy to get a book published, especially not that type of book, because it's that saturated, or there's that many diet books and stuff that no publishers were interested at all. So I was like, what am I going to do now?
Did you throw a lot of money at it?
No, luckily no.
Did you? Right.
But so
A lot of time.
Yeah, a lot of time.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a problem because I had a lot of time,
Right.
and that was the thing that kept me going through. Because then I could. It just gave. It took obviously a long time, so it was a lot of time where I was thinking about that rather than sitting there feeling sorry for myself or whatever. So
Yeah.
by this point, I was thinking, and now I'm thinking I don't even want to go back to playing footy now. I don't miss. Like I said, I didn't like the training. So
Was
I
you
didn't miss
making good money from the diet sheets?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Compared to, like I said, I was only on the dole beforehand, so any money was good money really.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right.
Yeah.
But we sold quite a few. So then, when the book, it was a no-go to be an actual book,
Yeah.
like a real life book. I found online, it's like it was like a website where they like you can self-publish it as an ebook.
Yeah.
So I thought, right. So what I did was, I was going to put recipes in that book, but then I made a separate recipe book as well. So it was like 100 odd recipes, split like breakfast, lunches, dinners, snacks, desserts, smoothies. Then we'd have the initial book. I called it the anti-yo-yo diet. That's what I called it, because the whole point was you don't go up and down. It's sort of a lifestyle thing where you can just steadily be healthy. It's concentrating on health, which then gets the results, rather than concentrating on calorie counting and macros and all that stuff that most people don't want to do.
Yeah. So
there were 2 ebooks. So what I did was I got a website made. I say a website, so shit. Like it literally wasn't even a website. It was just a couple of pages.
Yeah.
And then what it would be was I made like you could make a free code on this website where you made the ebooks that you'd sell them off. You could make like a free code so people could download them for free. So I made the website where you'd sign up, and it was like a £5 a month. And then when you signed up to it, you got a welcome email with the free code. So you got the 2 books, and then you'd have me as you could message me on Facebook, and I'd be an online PT if you like. So then when people would sign up, I'd just say to them, do us a favour, tag me in a status saying you've signed up to the anti-yo-yo diet, tag me in it, and then they'd put it as a status, and then people would comment saying, what's this? So I'd jump on, because I'd get the notification, I'd be like, I'll DM you with the info. So I had like a template message that I'd got where I'd just copy and paste it to everyone. And then built up. It just worked out that by the time it was all ready was January. So I think the first month we got something like 140 signed up. Because then when someone would sign up and they'd write that, and then someone would some people would do like progress pictures, some would just track the weight or the measurements or something, and then every week I'd do a check-in with them, and then they'd put on the status the picture or the progress picture, or they put lost 8 pounds this week on the anti-yo-yo diet, made up or whatever. And then people would be underneath like, I need information on this, what's this? So I'd just jump on then and message them. So I was never off my phone, but it was we built it up pretty quick. So we got to over, I think it was like 1,200 odd members.
All paying a £5.
Yeah.
That's good going.
But yeah, from nothing it was. Yeah, I was
Really
like,
good
but that was in the first year that we got to that.
Did you think this was going to be massive then? When you start seeing the numbers and it's scalable, did you start thinking?
Well, then I was like, shit, because I never saw it being. I never planned ahead, really. I was just rolling with it. But of course, there's only me. There's no way I can keep up with messaging all these people. The people at the start who they were used to me messaging them back straight away. Now I'm not messaging them back for a day, and it's not ideal. But so I'm starting thinking, and I was like, right, I need a better website. We'll get a forum on there, so then we can have like a community and people can answer each other's questions, because a lot of the questions, I'd get the same questions off a lot of people. So then other people, sometimes people would put it on a status, and then other people who were members, they'd jump on it and they'd want to help out as well. So I thought, we'll use the forum. So I get the new website done, and So yeah, this 2015. That is when I started it, January 2015, and then 2016 we're still going all right. But then one day I wake up, go to go on my Facebook, and wouldn't let me on, and I was like, what's going on here? So it just kept saying, no, your account's blocked, and I was like, account's blocked? What's that about? Anyway, because I was using the bots, Facebook bots had blocked my account because I was using a personal page for a business one. So this was when they wanted people to have a business page, didn't they? So you'd have to pay for advertising and all stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they shut me account down.
So all them members, all them over 1,000 members.
I've disappeared. I had no way of telling them, because the website was obviously shit what I had. Yeah. So I didn't have anyone's email address saved that I could email everyone or anything. I didn't have anything. So I was like, oh no. So then I've just disappeared, and people are obviously like trying to get hold.
Did you ever think that was going to happen? Did you ever was it ever on the back of your mind thinking Facebook could cut me off? No. Yeah.
No, I didn't even know
they could.
No.
You just feel like, yeah.
Yeah, one day I was
it's crazy, isn't it? Like you say, it could be bots, or it could be someone watching, but
yeah,
there's always something.
Someone might have just, because I used to get like, I'd go to the gym, or I'd go on a night out or something like that, and people would come up to me and be like, oh, you're smashing it, mate, all overseas people doing diet and all this. Yeah. Which was bizarre, that was great at the time. But with that, you probably get people who are thinking, that's pretty,
billion%.
So it was, it was a nice feeling when people come up to you and say that, but you're obviously going to get, when that happens, you're probably going to get people who are like, prick him, or who don't know you, but they just don't like. Some people are just like that. If they're not happy in themselves, they're not happy for anyone else, and they like seem they want to bring people down, don't they? And it's one of them things. Like I remember once, and this girl, I don't know her. Like I knew who she was, and she'd messaged. She was a member, like, and she messaged me on there quite a lot. And then it obviously was growing a lot, because I probably didn't help myself, because I wanted people to know that it worked and that people trusted it and used it. So I'd put like how many members we were up when we'd get to like 500, 600, 800, but I'd put it on, and then when we'd get it in because when someone would sign up, I'd get an email through off the payment company, and it'd say where the payment originated from, so like what country. Yeah. So we were getting, I mean, it's mostly English people who were like travelling, and then it spread maybe to some people who they knew, so it'd be like Australia, America, Canada, different parts of Europe. So I'd be putting this on the statuses, so people were probably thinking, oh, he's giving it the beginning, but I generally wasn't. Yeah. But and anyway, this girl I seen her, I was probably going to the gym or something in the car. I just got myself a new car, and so I was driving. I saw her, so I realised it was her. Like, give it a bit of a wave. She like waved back. Anyway, went to the gym, came out of the gym, checked my Facebook, and she was like, her message literally said, "Nice car, I want to cancel." I was like, right, all right, no worries. But like that's just what some people are like.
What was that about then? Do you know? You'll never know.
Yeah. So I just thought like, oh, he's giving it. He thinks he's.
Yeah. I think that's the.
I don't know. I can't relate to it, so I've no idea. But
I think nowadays with social media, I think everyone's got a voice. I feel like it's tough, innit? It is tough, and especially when you're in the public eye, like you are, like we had a gym as well. Yeah. You're not gonna suit everyone. You are gonna get some people wanting to talk shit about you.
I think a lot of people's problem is when it comes to mental health. I think a lot of them, they're not, and it's not. You can't really be taught it. Then they're not prepared for people not agreeing with them or not liking their opinion. Yeah. It's alright, it's everyone, like you say, everyone's got an opinion, everyone's entitled to one. But then you've got to accept that you're going to upset people with it. You can't please everyone. But and all that, we'll get to the rest of it in a minute, but that was the first sort of thing that sticks in my head where I thought, like, it's over there, like, why would you think that, But that prepared me for that. It makes you, you need to not be bothered about other people's opinion. It's easier said than done, that.
Of course it is.
But that now, I'm generally not
Did
bothered
it hurt
about-
you that when you got that message? Did it play on your mind?
Yeah. I wouldn't go as far as say it hurt me, but it definitely sat there, and because I couldn't understand it. So I was like, because if I see someone doing well, I get inspired. People go either way, don't they? You see someone. Connor McGregor's a great example. Loads of people hate Connor McGregor because he's outspoken, and now he's obviously got loads of dough and he does this and that. But I've always looked at people like that, and I get inspired by it. I think, well, he's earned that. He's done whatever work, whatever the person's done to get there. And they didn't get it given to him, and they've earned it. So, and I see the inspiration from it. But a lot of people go the other way, and it's normally when they're just projecting their own sort of their self-image isn't what they want it to be. So they get a bit, they project on other people. But like I say, that sort of was the first one I can really think of where it was a negative. People would probably say all sorts what I didn't know about.
Yeah.
But that was the first one what I didn't know about, and I was like,
Yeah. It's tough. It is tough, and you need to learn. You need to learn to have that thick skin, especially like you say when you're doing business like that. It's and putting yourself out there as well.
Yeah, well that's it. Yeah, you're gonna get, like, you probably have had it and get it yourself. Like you put your stuff out there, and there's always, whether it's someone in general or a competitor or something like that, and they want to put you down, don't they? But
of course.
But then so then where are we up to? Yeah, so Facebook have booted me off. So I'm thinking.
Could you appeal it? Could you fight your corner?
I messaged them, but you didn't get anywhere basically. So no.
Right.
But so then it was like a month or two after that, the payment company that I used, I won't name them, but they're a reputable one as well. I still see them all the time. Like when you go, well, we don't go anywhere these days, do we? But when we did, and you get like a handheld terminal, a chip and pin or whatever, and it'll say them on there, and I'm like, but like they had like apparently had a glitch in the system, so I was told, and because obviously I have no like access to anyone's bank details or any financial information. Obviously that's why I got a payment company, because I didn't want it where they'd pay me directly, because I didn't want to have any messing about with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, they had like a glitch in the system this 1 month, and it was like charging people like 4 times, 8 times, and like I obviously wasn't to know, because it's nothing. What happened was the payment company would say if you signed up on the 5th of the month, the 5th of every month they'd take your money. So, and whatever day people signed up on, and then at the end of the month they'd pay me less the charges that they'd charge for taking it. So if, say for example, if you signed up on the 5th, then the next 5th you didn't have sufficient funds in your bank, it'd bounce, so it'd try again the next day, and then if it bounced again, it'd try again the day after that. So it'd have 3 goes, and then after that was it. Then it'd cancel them off the system.
Yeah.
But they charge me for every time they try.
That's correct. Yeah.
So obviously, if someone didn't have the money, then I'd get charged 3 times and get no money. Yeah. So, but then the charges were big. But when I was setting up, I obviously didn't know what I was doing. I was just like rolling with it. I didn't have a plan really. I just knew that I wanted to help people, and I've gone to the bank to set the company up and told them what they asked you for your business plan and all that. Obviously went through it, and they said, "Oh, we've got a payment company. We help people out and put them in the direction." So I was like, yeah, no problem. So I met with them. They told me how they would do it, and I was like, yeah, fine, let's do it. In hindsight, I should have shopped around for better rates, for someone who could do because they didn't really, what I needed, a subscription thing at the time, they didn't really do it, and they sort of made one for us really. But, and it obviously wasn't great as it turned out, but so they've charged people can't get in touch with me because I'm not on Facebook anymore. Some people
What
did.
about the website? Could people get through anything through the
No, 'cause
website?
didn't have a contact thing or anything.
Did it not?
It was so bad. It was just literally just a page with the logo on and a bit of information about what you get, and then you go on, you click to sign up, and it had one more page which you fill your thing in, and then that'd go straight through the payment company. So it was, it wasn't
Did
great.
you get any bad press then? Was you getting like?
Yeah, oh yeah, people like my mates would tell me like, oh fucking hell, you're getting slated on Facebook here, this, and they'd show me them, and I'd be like, oh, I couldn't do anything. And then so some people did email me like some people that they didn't really use social media, so they'd say, have you got an email that I can do the online coaching with? So I'd be like, yeah, sure, give them it. So then some people, the ones who got through to me, like, so I'm saying, look, the payment I've got nothing to do with the payments. It's the payment company who do it. I've spoken to the payment company anyway, and I'm like, right, you're going to sort this, right? And they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. Anyone gets in touch with us, we'll refund them, so on. So I was like, right, okay, no problem. So then people would get in touch with me. I'd ask people who email me, do us a favour, put a status on Facebook, say here's his email, get in touch with him if you need it. So then quite a few people email me then. So, because it didn't do it with everyone, it did it with like a section of people. I don't know what happened, to be honest, but anyway, they'd get in touch with me and I'd say, look, this is the situation, get in touch with the payment company, they'll refund you. So then they were like, okay. They'd then get in touch with the payment company, who then fobbed them off and say it was me who had to pay them. So then they'd come back to me fuming because they'd been passed from pillar to post, they'd been on hold for ages, and then they'd come back to me, and I'm like, so I get back in touch with the payment company, and then they said, oh, I'll tell you what, well, if you pay him, then we'll sort it out with the end of month money that we pay you, we'll make sure it's all boxed off. So I was like, right, okay. So I did that, paid the people back, and then they didn't pay me at the end of the month, and they never did. Did they not? No.
Taken to court or anything?
No, well, there was, I tried to, but then there was loopholes and this, that, it was all, so it wasn't. But, so that was that. I had to, I mean, I could have not paid him and waited for everything to go through, but I didn't want to do that. It's not their fault that it did it. They're the ones out of pocket. So I wanted to make sure the people who got in touch with me got paid. Otherwise, the other way people had to do it was get in touch. So it was worse because the people who I couldn't pay myself, they could do like a chargeback through the bank. Yeah. So then when the payment company would then get hit with the chargeback, and then they would charge me 20 quid for every payment that they charge back. So if they've charged someone 8 times, they'd have to pay 8 refunds, and I'd have to pay 8 times 20 quid just for that person. And then there was a lot of people who had to. Wow. So that just waxed all my money that I'd built up.
So lesson learned.
I was left with zero, yeah.
Wow.
Pretty much zero. But
lesson learned, systems in place.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. So that, obviously at the time, then I started going back down the depression route. I'm thinking,
Did you? Yeah.
Thinking, why is this happening? All I wanted to do was help people. It's nothing to do with my, it wasn't in my control. But then, so yeah, it was a bit that was the same as the first time. I didn't tell anyone. Because then I definitely felt embarrassed then. Because then I'm thinking, everyone will be made up now. All them people who are putting these statuses on, they'll all be buzzing that have failed and all this. So I was like, I didn't want to face anyone. I'd just stay in bed.
Would you?
And it was bad. But and like I say, I've got no money left. I've got outgoings. Got a tax bill coming in. Got payments to make. So I was like, shit. And I still had a little bit there. So I wasn't in complete panic, but I just didn't know what I was going to do. I was in the middle of getting a new website made. So
for the yo-yo diet.
Yeah. So and then I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Like now, so what I wanted. So I've been that payment company off, needless to say. Yeah. But they wouldn't let me transfer everyone's details over to the new payment company. So then I've got no members left. So, but I knew I needed to get rid of him. I couldn't, even just my own principle, I couldn't stay with him after the way they dealt with it.
Yeah.
So I made the decision to just bin him off and then start again from nothing. So I had my new website, and then with the last bit of my money, I thought, because we're into January again now, so this is 2017. So we're into January, so I thought I'll pay an influencer to do a post, and hopefully I'll get loads of members, and then we can start fresh, new website. Got the forum now. Doesn't matter that it's only me. This is what I'm trying to tell myself this to get myself out of the rut again.
Yeah.
So I paid someone. She was on Towie, and she had like 2 million followers or something.
Yeah.
So
expensive to use an influencer.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, 'cause it depends who they are, what followers they've got, you know, what type of views and likes and stuff they normally get. To be honest, I don't like all of that stuff. I'm not really well up on it. So it was like I didn't need to panic, but that was a panic decision really. But so I did it. She did this video saying, you know, I'm doing the anti-yo-yo diet, it's this and this. I'd also like missed out that we'd added stuff to it. So there was the original plan. There was now the plans on the website now, they're not ebooks anymore. So you just have to log in and you've got all the info. So we had the original plan, the recipe catalogue, then we had like a fast track plan, so a bit stricter one that get you more sort of ripped quicker. Yeah. And then I brought out the mums programme. So we had more, so it was a tenner a month now. But some people who used it before did re-sign, to be fair, but I kept them at £5 as a loyalty thing. She said, because she'd had a baby, so she was talking about the mum's plan. So she did this video. Anyway, it got like, to be fair, it got shitloads of views and likes and all that. And it goes on, it was about like it was like evening, like 7 PM or something like that when she put it on. Because you go through you don't speak to them, you speak to the manager or whatever, their agent or whatever they are. Yeah. And so they were saying, you know, this is the peak time, this is the peak day, whatever, where they get the most engagement and all. I'm like, right, whatever. So did that, it went on, and then after, it must have been, I don't know, been on about half an hour or something, and I just checked the post to see how it was getting on, and I'm looking at the comments and it's like, it's a scam, because she puts a link in a bio as well, so in the video she's saying, check out, follow them on social, check out the link in the bio and check the website out, and it's like, it's a scam, there's nothing even there, there's no website and all this, and I'm like thinking, what the fuck? So I looked and went on the website, sure enough the website was gone, it said error, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? So I'm ringing the guy who's made my website, like, wow, and what's happened? Anyway, it turns out, so in that many people had tried to sign up, it crashed.
Traffic.
Yeah, it crashed. So then obviously people couldn't get on. When it eventually quietened down, like 2 hours later, you could get it back up and it was on again. I got something like 80 people signed up before it crashed.
So it's like the servers can't take it, innit?
Yeah, because everyone just straight on when they've seen it.
You don't think of stuff like that. I mean, we have had that. We've had that with our website, where we launched the website and there's too much traffic going to it. It just, you don't think of stuff like that.
Like, wow, like, God knows how many people I would have got on if it never crashed. But I got something like 80. Which it's better than nothing. But it covered, like, I could pay with my outgoings that I had. But so then I was back into, like, that was the last of me actual money that I had from before. So now I was like back to square one. It's not meant to be this. Even this has happened. This, that, and the other. So then I've got into a rut again, and it was pretty grim. And then I get my tax bill comes through. I'm thinking that I know everything about business now. I've done it for 2 years, and I didn't. I got my tax all wrong when I calculated it. It's a way bigger tax bill than I thought. So I was like, I had to pay that monthly then instead of just being able to pay it.
Yeah.
And then so I was struggling then. That was a bad time. That was probably the worst out of all the other times when I've said I was in a rut. That was the worst one.
Was
that
it?
Was bad, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I'd wake up and I'd just be like in my bed like sobbing. I was thinking like, what's happened here? Like I had all this, it's gone. Like it wasn't even my fault.
You know what?
Feeling sorry for myself and all that.
So many good points there to take though, because I think you do just think like business is rosy and you just see the pound size.
I thought I cracked it. That was the mistake. I thought I cracked it, and you never crack it because you've always got to evolve. It's always evolving.
You've got to know. You've got to know. I'll tell you a story about when we had the gym and we were flying. We were absolutely flying. The place was packed out, day and night, absolutely packed. And the next minute, I get two guys coming through, a guy and a woman come through, and it was from the VAT. And we didn't realise that once you hit over a certain amount that you have to declare VAT. So
you're doing all right then.
we were flying, we were absolutely flying, but we never even knew that because we're so green at business. Do you know what I mean? We were so new to business, but yeah, they sat down and that was a dark place for me. Do you know what I mean? You think to yourself like, who's grassed us up, who's done this? Like, but you didn't even realise it. It's just a lesson learned.
These are the things, going back to school, I mean, we could do a whole podcast on what I think about what they should teach people and what they do teach people.
Yeah.
And like, they're teaching people algebra. You need to teach them what to do, how to earn money, how to invest it, how to save it, how to
do your taxes.
Yeah, how to do your taxes. These are the things. This is life skills, and they're teaching you X and Y and all this shit. But you know, like I say, that's another podcast. But these are the type of things what you don't know, and then
you have to learn the hard way.
If you don't know someone who does know, you learn the hard way, and that's it. And you take your smacks, don't you? But like for me, then I was lucky. I mean, everything. The thing with the law of attraction is you have to. What I used to think. It's funny because it would. Like I say, all the way through, I'd relate to Connor McGregor, right? So at the time, he all through the start of his career, he'd follow the law of attraction. He'd speak out and say what he was going to do, and he'd go and do it. And it was all rosy. He was winning all his fights. He was two-weight champion and all this. And then he got beat, and like
who beat him?
Nate Diaz beat him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And he was.
I was out in the first round.
Yeah, he got like choked, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I was like, what's this about? Like, how can he lose? He's doing the law of attraction. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Would you stay up for his fights?
Yeah. So then I was thinking like, shit, like what? So maybe so it doesn't always work. Then I'm thinking like this then. But then what he did, to be fair, what helped me was he took the loss well. Like he came out straight after it and he was like, I made mistakes in my training camp and this, that and the other. I wasn't as focused as I should have been. I'll correct these, I'll come back, I'll take the loss like a man, I'll be back, I'll get revenge in a rematch and I'll crack on and I'll still get the goals what I've said I'm going to get. So that helped me to think like, what are you going to do? Just sit in your bed and like start whinging about it. You've got to do something about it. There's no point just feeling sorry for yourself. And again, that's easier said than done. It's not, a lot of people really struggle with that. But thankfully, I was able to sort of pull myself out of it. But because the thing with the law of attraction, everything works out for the best if your headspace is right. So if you're always thinking, looking for the positive stuff, the things that you need will come to you. You'll get the ideas will come into your head, or someone who ends up helping you you'll get put in touch with them somehow, or things like that. They normally call coincidences and luck, but it's not. You make your own luck to say, and that's in your head. You make the luck by being positive. It's not easy to be positive all the time. Obviously, like you're saying now, it's hard to be positive now, but you have to do what you can. So if you, like for me, I don't watch the news. I don't watch any of these updates and things that they do where they're talking about the different lockdowns and all that. Nothing on my social media has anything to do with it. It's all stuff that I like to see. What I watch, I don't watch telly, don't watch adverts or anything like that. I just watch YouTube really. I don't read anything that's negative in any way, and that because if I did, I'd probably start getting negged out as well. So you have to put things in place yourself. So
Definitely.
you've got to. There's things you can control, and you have to step up and control them. There's no point not controlling it and then moaning about it. That's you get no sympathy for me if you do that. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not supposed to be easy.
No, it's so true that. It's so true. 2 questions then. Do you feel like if you wouldn't have found out about Connor McGregor and having that to look up to, do you think you would have been the person you are now?
God knows. Unless someone else had come along with the same effect.
Yeah.
Then no.
And why Conor McGregor? Why was it such an effect? What was it? Did you speak your language or? Yeah,
I guess I could just relate to him. Like he'd been on the dole. He wouldn't do a job that he didn't like because he basically said life's not about that. You have to follow your passion, and that's what you should make your job.
Yeah.
Which is what I believe as well. Is he had the same knee injury as me, and rehabbed it from that. And then just the fact that I liked watching him fight. I liked the way he spoke. He was funny, but also what he was saying, I could relate to it. And then with the way everything worked out for me, it sort of mirrored when he had a bit of a lull. That's when I did, and
so you could relate.
Yeah. So then, I'm like I met him, and
I was going to say I've seen on your Instagram you met him,
and I said to him. To be fair, he was dead sound. It's one of them. They say, don't they? You shouldn't meet your heroes or whatever, because if they're a prick, then you'd be gutted, don't you? But like, he was dead sound.
Yeah.
But, I said to him.
Where did you meet him?
In a gym in Miami. It was. So I've gone in, and it's funny really, because even that was law of attraction, because the gym I wanted to go, it's called Fifth Street Gym. Muhammad Ali used to train there. So one of the reasons, when I went to Miami, one of the things I wanted to do was train. When I went to LA, I trained at the Wild Card.
Yeah. What an amazing place. Wild Card's amazing. Yeah, what the energy. We walked in there. It was when Pacquiao was training, but he wasn't there. He was training for Cotto, I think.
Okay.
But he'd gone off to a camp. But we walked in. That's one thing that I think if you're a boxing fan or a fight fan, that's definitely.
When I went,
did you train there? Did you train in the Wild Card?
Yeah.
Did you use one of the trainers?
Yeah, I got pads off Freddie Roach's brother.
Yeah.
But then I just did some stuff on the bags. But before I started training, these two, I think they were light heavyweights. Some up was sparring. Yeah. I was like, I should have had popcorn, mate. It was class. Just sat there, just watching. You can't use your phone or the proper on you if you get your phone on.
Yeah.
And but I watched that and then did a bit of training. That went Mayweather's gym and went Vegas. So
Did he let you in there?
Yeah, he wasn't there.
Was he not?
Yeah, you could go in. Yeah, it's going. And
I think it was shut when we went there.
Yeah. So one time when I'd been, it was shut. Yeah, and then this time,
just in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, isn't it?
It's like Chinatown, so it's out and away from the strip. So I got like a taxi, and I just said to the guy, "Do us a favour, sit here for a minute, because they might just boot me out, or I might not even be able to get in." Yeah. But I got in, so that was good. But then so I wanted to go to this Fifth Street Gym in Miami, right? So this day, the day I decided I was going to go, it was like a 15-minute walk from where I was staying, and I got there, and it was a building site, so it wasn't there anymore, been knocked down. Right. So I was like, shit, I didn't know that. So, but I wanted to train. I just felt like training, and like the day before, I'd been to. It's a place called what's it called? It's basically an industrial estate, but they let a load of artists loose in there, and they do like graffiti art and stuff, and on all the walls and stuff. And it's like a place where it's like a tourist place where you can just go and look around. So I'd been there, and then when I was walking back from there, I saw this. It's called Miami Fight Club. So I saw that. So I had a little look, and I was like, "Oh, it looks decent." And so I thought, might be able to get there before I go home. Anyway, so this Fifth Street Gym was shut, so I thought I'll go to that fight club. So I goes there, and then I did my warm up and that, started on the bag. And there's different rooms. There's a big room with the ring and the bags, and then there's another room where it's like sort of strength conditioning stuff and where you can like stretch out. And so I wanted to film myself on the bag so I could put it on social. So I went in to get like a box, what you do box jumps on, to prop my phone up on. So as I went in, he was in there stretching. Like I hadn't seen him come in,
No way.
And he was with his like one of his strength conditioning guys, the lad who he has who takes all his pictures for him and that. Yeah. And it's 2 security guards. So but he was dead in the gym. There was literally me and him in there, and the gym owner who was PTing some woman. So he'd been there for like a month or something, because I think he'd been like outside a bar or something, and some like fan had got up in his face filming him, giving him loads of shit. So he whipped the phone off him and stamped on it. Right. So he was in court. He had to they pressed charges on him, so he had to stay. So he had like a big gaff over there, I think, where he was staying for the time, but he was training there. Yeah. So so I've gone in to get this box, like just walked in, looked up, and he was like, "Where you at?" Yeah. I was like, "That's fucking hell." And he was like, "Oh, how are you doing, mate? You alright?" Shut me hand and stuff. So I says, "Oh yes, sir." And he said, "Oh, where you from, England?" So I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, do you live here now?" I was like, "Nah, just on holiday." So he says, "Alright." I said, "I don't want to like interrupt your session, but can I get a picture with you after, before you get off?" Yeah. And he was like, yeah, sure, mate, no worries, I'll come and find you. So I was like, right, okay. Went back and filmed myself on the bag. So I'm on the bag. And I've got like, I was like, wow. Yeah. And then, so I've as I'm on the bag, I noticed that he'd come out in a stretching room and he was like wrapping his hands by the ring. And I'd seen it that he was watching. Yeah. And because there was mirrors obviously the other side, so I knew he was there. So I'm like giving it beans on the bag, trying to think that I'm fucking. But so then, anyways, I've finished. The little round timer's gone off, so I've got a swig of water, and he comes over and he's like, "Oh, so," he said, "Oh, so you're a fighter, are you then? Like, how many fights have you had?" And I was like, "No." I said, "No, I don't fight, mate. No, I just train." And he was like, "Oh," he said, "I thought you must have been a fighter or something." I said, No. He said, "Well, what are you doing here then? You're on holiday?" And I said, "Yeah, I just felt like getting some training." And he says, "Oh," he said, "No." He said, "You're not got a mouthpiece, have you?" And I was like, "No." And he said, "We could have had a spar." And I was like,
"No way."
I was like, "What?" Wow. But to be fair, it's a good, like, my mates still rip me about it now, saying that I should have anyway, but yeah, obviously I just got my ass handed to me by him, but it would have been a good experience. But
wow.
But he
got
was,
the pictures to show it as well.
But he was like, yeah. So the guy was like, he had his own guy like taking the pictures and stuff like that. Yeah. And then, but yeah, he was like, he said, "Oh, no worries." He said, I would have had a spar, but I'll just do some stuff on the bag. So we just went on the bags, and I finished, got a picture with him, and he went, and then the gym manager come over and he was like, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't spar with him." And I was like, "I know, but I would have been picking my teeth up if I sparred him without a mouthpiece as well."
Oh, what an incredible story.
But he was like, he said, "Oh yeah," he said he would, because to be fair, I don't think he didn't want like a proper scrap spar, he just wanted a little move around, yeah. But because he said, the gym guy said, "Oh yeah, he spars with some of our amateurs," and he said like he's alright with him, like he doesn't paste him, but he said one of them tried it on and tried to give him a smacking, and he just battered him then because he sort of took the piss. But he said the ones who if you just have him move around, he's alright. But yeah, so then after it I was like, I should have said yeah, I should have said, but probably best that I didn't, because I just got hammered by him.
What an amazing story.
But no, I said to him, I said I found out about the law of attraction because of you, and I said about his documentary with and the book, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm made up, I can inspire you," and all that. So it was good, it's a good little meeting. But yeah, it's just, I think everyone needs someone who, because you have to sort of, it has to come from you. But I think everybody does need someone who it doesn't have to be someone famous. It could be like a family member or the mate or something like that, or just someone who they watch on social that they don't know. Just to give them that, because there's always days when you can't be asked. It doesn't matter what you do or how much you love what you do. There's always days where you don't want to do it. Yeah. And just seeing something like one of the reasons I put like training videos on my Instagram, and it's like I do it because when I see someone else put one on, it makes me want to train. Like I feel like I'll go and do it. So it holds me accountable, and also if I can have that effect and someone sees me doing pull-ups or something, they might think, "Oh yeah, I couldn't be asked going to the gym, but I'll go now." And so, to be
So
fair,
you can help one person.
yeah, to be fair, and it's going back to what we were saying about the negative stuff. Is like I get messages every time I put one on, saying like, fucking smashing them, mate, or it made me want to go to the gym or this. So that's a good feeling. But then I also get them with people saying like, who do you think you are? You're showing off this, that. And it's like now I'm genuinely not asked that, and that's because of the experience I had before. Like when I was getting all that shit, and it got me down then, definitely at the time. But that's what's taught me to not be bothered.
Yeah.
And that's the only way. You're free, really, aren't you? If you're not bothered what other people think,
you're free. 100%.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, 100%. And
No.
you, like we said, you're not going to please everyone. You're not going to be the right taste for everyone. Do you know what I mean? You're going to, people, especially with social media nowadays, people are going to twist things. And do you know what I mean? You can say one thing. We've had it with the
people
gym.
say whatever they want.
Yeah, we've had it with the gym when things didn't fit right with trainers, and we've had to go our separate ways.
Mm.
And people make their own little cliques, and I'm sure people have little bitches, but you're not going to go around pleasing every single person. You've got to take it on the chin sometimes, and you've got to move on. Do you know what I mean? And that's it. As long as you can put your head down at night, knowing that you've been the best version of yourself in that day, you've helped people. That's it.
I mean, like like obviously it was a bad time that when all of that stuff happened, and I was like, right, I'm gonna have to get a job.
Yeah.
Like, and to be honest, even though I did have a few members again then, because of that post, even though only half worked really, I wasn't enjoying it anymore. I didn't want to do anything to do with that. I was sort of like, I need a break. And one of my best mates, he works in office refurbishment, so he was like, I'd said to him, I need money, I need to get a job. I was like, I'd gone to a recruitment company, so I was trying to get, I was going to start working as a driver's mate for, doing, I think it was like Oak Furniture Land or something, where they deliver wardrobes and shit like that. And I'd said to him, see if you can get us in. So just before I initially started, so this is 2014 now, I'd done a few weeks working with him and the guys who he works for to get some money together to make the shit website, because believe it or not, it actually did cost me a few £100 that, even though it was so bad. Yeah. But so I knew the bosses from that and some of the lads, and obviously he's one of my best mates, so I was like, see if you can get me in, and eventually he got me in. So I was just going in labouring really, and I enjoyed it. It was like building site banter with the lads, and I didn't have to think about social media or websites or any of that shit, so it gave me something to focus on. And I got speaking to the lads who were there and found out about the type of money they were making and stuff like that, and so I set up a company doing that and got myself a van, business lease, and then started building, got myself some tools, learnt all the product and stuff, and then the way it works, if you have a van, you can basically you're subcontracting for a subcontractor, so you can charge them your labour, you charge them using your van mileage, and then if you're delivering stuff, you get more, and there's different grades. So I just lumped on with that and enjoyed it, and I still do it now. That's nearly 4 years, nearly 4 years ago that now, and it was just a nice break to get away from it. But after I was making decent money doing that, so I was just enjoying that. Then another influencer, she was on, I don't watch any shit programs, but she was on Love Island apparently. Yeah. So management gets in touch and emails me. So she'd seen the post that the other one had put on. Yeah. And she was pregnant at the time, so she'd had the baby now. This is going to be about the March time, I'd say, the initial post in January. Yeah. She'd had the baby, and she was like, I've heard about this, your mum's programme. So she said, my client's heard about your mum's programme. She wants to get back into shape for a sort of influencer career or whatever they do. Yeah. She'll put a post on if you give her a free membership. So I was like, yeah, whatever, yeah. So I generally wasn't asked at the time. I didn't want anything to do with it really. I was happy just being away from it. Anyway, so she put a post on saying she was starting it, and I got like about 50 members or something off the back of it, which was alright. It was a bit of extra cash, but didn't think anything else of it, carried on doing that. And then like a couple of, like it must have been 6 weeks or a couple of months later, she puts another post on, like they hadn't told me they were going to do it. She's in like a little Calvin Klein underwear with the baby, like shredded.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I've been doing a mum's plan of the anti-oil diet, made up with the results, it was so easy, this, that and the other. So I was like, fucking hell. So I got like about 300 members off it, and then it was in like some like celebrity gossip magazine front cover, and and then there was like a page talking about it, and she'd done like an interview. Like, fucking hell, what's something's happening again. And then I had MTV email me and phone me. They were like, have you got a TV advert? We want to put it, Geordie Shore was the main thing at the time. They were like, we want to put it on an ad break in the middle of Geordie Shore. And I was like, no, I haven't got one. So I looked into that. They were like, I think it was about 20 grand or something to get a TV advert. So I was like, oh, I'm not doing that then. Yeah. But these opportunities started coming again, and I was like, shit, maybe I should start giving this some more attention again. Yeah. So I kept doing the office stuff, but then I thought, right, I want it can be better than what it is. I knew there was more in there. There was more, and I wanted to. This is like now it's almost like a trendy thing to be on about mental health, isn't it? But this is what 2017. It wasn't really a thing. There was much then. But I wanted to get something in, I want more along like the mindset type of stuff, like my take on the law of attraction really. Yeah. It's more relatable, I think, to the general public rather than talk about the universe and all that turns a lot of people off. So I wanted something to do with that, but I couldn't put my finger on what it was. Anyway, we're in these, when I go in these offices, we're like all over the country and different size companies, and I couldn't believe how unhealthy everyone was. Like slobbing out in the chairs, and they'd have be eating shit all day and just living off energy drinks and like crap really. Yeah. And they didn't have, they were just people who were just like unmotivated, they didn't want to be there, and there was I know some canteens would have healthy options, and that was about as far as it went. So I started doing my own little, I thought, what if I can do something for companies, like a employee wellness thing. So I started doing my own little survey. I'd ask like employees what their company does for them, what they get, and it was like nothing. So I was like, right.
Would they get a gym membership someplace?
Some of them did, that's about the only thing.
Yeah, which is not accountable, is it? It's not
really. Not making anyone do anything, is it?
No, exactly.
And
if someone says, I'll drop a free gym, you're going to say, if you're going to go or not.
What I found myself as well since is, if you give people things for free, a lot of the time, it doesn't have the impact because they're not asked, because it's free anyway. They're not. There's no reason for them to really do it unless they're into it anyway and they're like, oh, nice one, I'll take that. But then I'd ask like managers or even the owners, depending who our client was, who we were dealing with. I'd just sort of I wouldn't tell them what I did and stuff. I'd just sort of say, what do you do for employee wellness? And they'd be like, nothing. Like, and so then I was like, right, we need to do something here. The guy getting out it all, it shows how it all comes together. One of the bosses of the office refurb company that I'm subcontracting for, his physio, when I was doing all the labouring, I knacking my shoulder a bit. It was always giving me grief. And he put me in touch with his physio, who's like a neck and shoulder specialist. He used to be, he's based in Manchester, but he used to be England Rugby Union's physio, and then Sale Sharks, London Wasps. So he was like, go and see him. And he'd been going to see him for years, he was pally with him. So we told him, it's this, he knew the injury because he knew the job that we were doing. So he was like, I went to see him, a few sessions with him, so my shoulder's getting better. Anyway, one time, he was making small talk, saying, you're busy, this, that and the other. And I started talking to him about because at this point I'm trying to put stuff together for like a workplace wellness program. So I started telling him about that, not realising that he didn't even know I did that. And he's like, what are you on about? I thought you did the stuff with Mike, you know, doing the office stuff. I said, oh, I do, but this is the other thing that I did before. So then he started asking me more questions about it. So I was telling him, and he said, oh, I've got a networking thing next week. You need to come with me. So I was like, well, why? What do you mean? So one of his best mates, there's a company called Bruntwood, who are like a property company. They own something like 90% of the office space in Manchester, and then they've got office space in Leeds, Birmingham, Cheshire, Liverpool. Anyway, so his mate's one of the directors, and so Doug, the physio, he was looking to do like pop-up clinics in some of the buildings in Manchester. Basically, Bruntwood wanted to start offering wellness because different companies will sign a contract to work out of their office space, and then they want to retain those people. So they want to give them as many incentives for being in their buildings as they can. Yeah. So he said, oh yeah, come and meet Andrew, the director. So I went and spoke to him and told him about what we do, showed him that post, the magazine thing, and he was like, oh yeah, you know, we want to get this involved. So I was like, right, well, I had a meeting with him and this, that, but I knew that I needed it to be better than what it was.
Yeah.
And so obviously you know Tim.
Yeah.
I met Tim because the website that I had at the time, I did like an about me page, so it'd have my story on there, and I wanted some like professional pictures, so like some like training type pictures and some like sort of in a suit type thing. So when I did a shoot with Kay, I googled like fitness photographer, and then they came off, saw the website, I liked it, followed them on social, liked the stuff, and went in, did the shoot with Kay. They're all dead sound, obviously, as you know. Tim's a legend, and so I met Tim briefly, but then I obviously still did it, followed them on social, saw all the different work, and then I thought I need these to sort of put me to the next level. If I'm thinking now, fuck it, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it properly, go all in, and we can do something here. Because I'm thinking, there's so many people in these offices, I can help more people that way. And if the company's paying, it's less hassle than general public, but I can help more people than if it's just general public, because I'm gonna get, like, a company might have 5,000 employees in one go. So that's the route I wanted to go. So I met Tim and Gaz, told them about what my plan was, and they were like, yeah, you need a new brand, you need a new website. And normally you'd think, yeah, right, okay, that's you would say that's what you do. But obviously, you know, Tim, you know, they know what they're doing. You know that they're not trying to just have you off. They only work with people who they believe in what they're doing anyway. So that was that. I put everything on hold with Bruntwood, rebranded, got the new website, and then it literally was ready the week before what turned into be lockdown 1. Right. So then we were like, nothing. There's other companies as well that I'd sort of put the feelers out to, and were interested. And then obviously, because it was lockdown, they were all like, right, put the brakes on. We don't know what's happening here, so we don't want to do, which is fair enough. So that was it. We were on hold from then. So we're ready to go. It's called Wealthy now. Yeah. And it's got the nutrition plans that we had before. Yeah. It's got exercises, workout videos on there, yoga, breath work stuff. And we've got recipes. We've got phone helpline for people who are struggling if anyone's in a bad way. There's loads of different things, blogs, all this sort of stuff. All the mental health side, self-care plans and all that. So we didn't have a lot of that at the start of what would have been lockdown 1. Within the lockdowns, I've managed to add a lot of stuff. Yeah. Yourselves, obviously, with your workouts, but like now, it all works out for the best anyway. It's a lot better of a product now. Yeah. And there's been some more opportunities come up throughout the lockdowns anyway. So we're in a better position. But it's just funny how it all works out, isn't it? How it's, even when it's a shit time, it's only a shit time if you let it stay a shit time. You've got to do what you. For me, as long as I'm busy, I can work towards something. I'm happy then. That's all I want. Is when you're making progress, that's when that's what happiness is about. I think that's what keeps people.
It's the journey,
in a
isn't
good
it?
mindset. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of the problem is I see it a lot that people they've got a goal and they feel like they can't be happy until they've reached the goal.
Yeah.
But it's the other way around.
It's the journey. It's the
It's
building the
Yeah,
business.
because that's the progress, which is what
Yeah.
makes you feel good, gives you the momentum. And then you see it a lot when people reach a goal and then there's nothing then.
They're not happy.
Because they haven't,
Yeah.
they're not, they feel empty because they've reached the goal and they're like, what am I going to do now? And they haven't set another goal.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury was a big example of that.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
says,
Well,
you've probably seen on the Joe Rogan podcast when he was on,
Yeah.
and he was saying how obviously his goal from a young lad, he knew Klitschko was there, and he was working on. He knew he could beat him, and he was just biding this time until he got there, won all the belts, and then his head fell off. And
Yeah.
it's so easily done.
Have you read his
And-
book?
No,
You've got Behind the Mask.
I need to.
You've got to. Amazing book.
And then he's a legend, Tyson Fury, and people can relate to him. But again, McGregor did the same thing. He wanted to be a two-weight champ, got there. Then he had the Mayweather fight, made a load of dough. So that was all his goals. And then his head fell off.
Yeah.
Started punching old men and stuff like that. So you can't. It just shows it doesn't matter who you are, what level you're at, whatever your goal is. If you don't set new ones,
It's the journey,
you're
isn't it?
stuck. On the way, it's like Bugsy Malone as well. He was, I saw a thing with him on YouTube and interviewed him, and he was saying the same thing. And it's like he put it was a good analogy. He said like you've got like conveyor belts. So one's got all the positive things you want on, and one's got the negative things on, and they're always moving. One's moving towards you, one's moving the opposite way. And if you're in a positive mindset, it's the positive coming to you and the negative going away. And if you're in the other side, it's the other way, so the negatives come towards you. And then, like he said, you've got to keep setting goals, because that keeps putting things on the positive treadmill, like the positive conveyor belt that's going to drop things off to you.
Yeah.
And if you've got nothing left on it, you're fucked, aren't you?
Yeah.
And that's what happened to him, Tyson Fury, McGregor.
So many in there.
Yeah,
There's so many.
And a lot of people now, when their goals were related to going to work or going and doing something that they now can't do.
Yeah.
So that's when people are stuck, when they're stuck in and they can't do anything. And it's hard, but you've got to find other things that you can do. As well, people like yourself, you've transformed what you're doing, so you can make something good out of a bad situation.
$1,000,000%, and that's it, innit? Like you say, it takes sometimes something as severe as what we've gone through 2020 to realise that, yeah, you need a shake up, and there is opportunities out there for people if you're willing to put the work in. And
That's another thing. A lot of people don't want to do that though.
No, it's not going to come to you, is it? I think that you can have the best idea in the world, but if you're going to lie in your bed thinking about it all day, it's not going to happen. You've got to put the graft in, and that's the bottom line. It's tough. It's very, very tough. It's mental. It's draining. Yeah. But yeah, we've got.
The thing is, it's going to be tough anyway. Don't matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's going to be bits that are tough, so you might as well pick something you like doing,
and
then at least when it's tough, you know that you enjoy it, and you're going to come the next day, you wake up and you're ready to go again. And
100%.
There's no point doing a job you don't like. It's still going to be tough then anyway, so you might as well pick something you like.
Razor, been absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I think we're running out of time, but
Yeah.
I'll put all your links below, Razor.
Yes,
I'll give you a COVID safe fist bump.
Yeah.
But no, nice one. Thanks for coming
No
down,
problem,
mate.
mate. Enjoyed
Awesome.
it.